It's time for more of today's top stories from the Next News Network.
Speaking on behalf of proposed gun restrictions, Emeryville, California Police Chief Ken James made what some might consider a shocking admission. Let's go now to Chief James.
One issue that always boggles my mind is that the idea that a gun is a defensive weapon. That is a myth. A gun is not a defensive weapon. A gun is an offensive weapon used to intimidate and used to show power. Police officers do not carry a gun as a defensive weapon to defend themselves or their other officers. They carry a gun to be able to do their job in a safe and effective manner and face any oppositions that we may come upon. If it was a defensive measure, why did we lose 55 officers nationwide last year to gun violence? And unfortunately, in just the 2 months of this year so far, we've lost 2 officers to gun violence in the state of California alone. We deal with gun violence on a daily basis. We are asking and have been asking for reasonable regulations, not that are going to impact the legal gun owner. We're asking for reasonable regulations that will help us keep our communities and our officers safe. Thank you.
A recent shootout in Detroit illustrates that, contrary to what some police chiefs believe, guns do serve as defensive weapons. That incident also answers a question posed by gun control advocates, namely, why would private citizens need so-called assault weapons? A tax preparation business in a Detroit neighborhood was targeted by a male and female team of armed robbers. The private security guard on the scene retreated to a back room and grabbed his AR-15 to confront the pair, who retreated in the face of superior firepower. Nobody was killed in the shootout, although the private security guard suffered a non-life-threatening gunshot wound to the leg.
Missouri's House Bill number 545, which was introduced by Democrats in the state legislature, would order gun owners to surrender all firearms that are arbitrarily designated assault weapons within 90 days of enactment. The weapons would be collected by law enforcement agencies for destruction. After the deadline had passed, any citizen found in possession of a so-called assault weapon or a large-capacity magazine would be charged with a Class C felony. The bill would also ban import, transfer, or manufacture of so-called assault weapons, a provision that could target citizens who use 3D printing technology to fabricate the weapons or ammo magazines.
Since the recent onslaught of proposed gun restrictions began, advocates of gun control have dismissed concerns that police would conduct door-to-door searches for firearms. Yet this is precisely the arrangement that would be mandated by a bill before the Washington state legislature. Senate Bill 5737, which proposes a ban on so-called assault weapons, would permit those who currently own such weapons to keep them, as long as they are stored safely and securely at home. The bill would also require county sheriffs to conduct annual inspections of homes to ensure compliance with that element of the law.
You're watching the Next News Network.